What's going on? This is your man John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show, and I'm back after dealing with my oldest son's graduation. He graduated from college. I'm excited for him. You guys may start seeing new content that will be done by my son. He got his degree in graphic design, so I'm really excited about that. I'm really happy. I'm proud of him, super proud of him. I know he's working on getting a job. Like I said, I'm so proud of my son, and I've been dealing with that the whole time. So, oh man, I'm back, and I got to sit down for once and actually, I was watching the Defenders already. I saw the past 4 games, the past 5 games actually, and see them go 1-4, and today they're dumped out of the playoffs. Like, this is a surprise for this DC franchise, because they were so good for so long, and to see them basically go down this year, there are 2 games left in the season. There's not much to really play for except for dignity. Trying to win out the season, or at least go 500 in the season, because right now I think they're what, 3-5? Yeah, 3-5. So, like I said, this was a bad season, and I'm not gonna destroy the Defenders this year because of the fact that they ran into a lot of stuff. They had a lot of guys that didn't return. Their all-star receiving core did not return, so they were down that. Then Abram Smith, their star running back, goes down before the start of the season with an ACL tear, and they never got the running back room together. They had a lot of injuries along the offensive line. I think, if I can remember, I think they went through a lot of tackles. They went through a lot of offensive linemen this year altogether, because they had a lot of guys who actually returned and they all got injured. So they have been shuffling that offensive line all year. And Jordan Ta'amu, or Ta'amu, which is how he wants it pronounced now, he didn't play well. It could have been due to the offensive line being erratic and everybody being injured and things like that, but Jordan didn't play well at all. It's hard to see him play so sporadically and not play more erratically, because of the fact that it's almost like he just could not handle what was going on out there. And to me, I feel that we already know what Jordan is. Let's see what Jalen is. These last 2 games, see what you can get out of Jalen McClendon, because I remember last year when he played with the Vipers, he actually came in and actually led the Vipers on to almost coming back and actually making themselves valuable last year. And for some reason, I don't know what happened, but again, Jordan Ta'amu, he played okay, but he played poorly. He did play poorly. It seemed like there were a lot of times. He had I think he had 7 interceptions this year against, I think it's like 10 touchdowns, 10 or 11 touchdowns. This is a high total for him. He showed that he showed a lot of inaccuracy when he's throwing the ball, and even though they may want him to be mobile, he's not as mobile as he could be. But again, there were a lot of things that played into this season being a down season. And like I said, the big thing was that their star players were all gone. Like I said, they lost their entire receiving, all-star receiving core was gone. Abram Smith went down with injury. That was over. The defense was on the field a lot this season. I mean, a whole lot. I mean, this is the first time that we've seen a Defenders team where the defense clocked that much mileage on the field. They were on the field a lot because the offense was going out, 3 and out a whole lot. And they suffered some blowouts. I mean, they played very well this week against the Battlehawks in the second Battlehawks game in a rivalry game. Last year they swept the Battlehawks. This year the Battlehawks swept them, and they beat them without AJ McCarron on the field. So that puts a double whammy on there. Even Anthony Beck, the head coach of the Battlehawks, he said, we purposely built the Battlehawks to beat the Defenders. So, I mean, like, that, all that being said, it's sad to see that the Defenders went down this year. But, like I said, I'm going to give them grace because of the fact that they did suffer a lot of losses this season. So, it's sad to see them go down so badly. But again, they could probably get themselves to 500. Again, we know what Ta'amu is. But it's time to see what Jalen McClendon can bring to the table, because it's not just about Jordan being the starter and comfortable with being the starter. The thing about it is that Jalen and Jordan are two different types of quarterbacks. And you got to see what type of offense you can run with the two quarterbacks. One of the things I said that Fred Kite should do was utilize Chris Rowland a little bit more in that Christian McCaffrey style type of role. And he did that to some extent, but he didn't do it enough. And I understand you don't want to like overwhelm it or make it be too much, but I felt that they should have leaned more on Chris Rowland because he is a very dynamic player that does a very good job with getting open, getting into space, and playing well. So again, like I said, I'm not gonna brutalize the Defenders this year. I'm gonna give them grace. Next year, we got to see what happens. Reggie Barlow played it safe way too much this year. Way too much. I mean, there were so many times where you sat up there and you saw him actually pretty much like just find a way to always like just play it too safe. 4th and 1s, he didn't really want to go on 4th and 1s. He had a 4th and 2 in the game prior to that, and felt the need to punt it away. And it was like maybe 2 minutes or something left on the clock, and it's like, yo, it's 4th and 2, go for it, you know. But again, when you don't have the weapons that you're used to having out there, it may, and maybe that's part of why he played it safe, because there were the weapons he was so used to being there, and them not being there made him be far more conservative than what he was last year. Because he wasn't conservative last year. Like, there were a lot of times where he would actually go for it a lot last year, and you know, like even when it came to like something is 4th and 15. Like, he would actually let the team go out there and play because he felt that there was a chance that they would get the conversion, they would get the first down and everything like that. But for some reason this year, I think not having that supporting cast around made him question the chances of going for things on 4th and 2, 4th and 1, and things like that. And it was sad to see that. It really was sad to see Reggie Barlow hold back after watching that team do so well. And like I said, this year, I can't fault the defense. They were on the field a whole lot this year. I mean, there were times where we would see the offense on the field for, in fact, the first Battlehawks game. That very first, the first Battlehawks game, we saw the defense on the field almost the whole game. The first Brahams game, again, the defense was on the field a lot. The Birmingham game, they were on the field a lot. So it was a lot of that up and down, going back and forth. The Michigan game, the Michigan Panthers, they were on the field a lot against them as well. So I mean, this defense was on the field a whole lot, and you saw that in every game, towards the end of the game, they were just like completely spent and burnt out. And, you know, you can't have your defense on the field that much and that often and expect for them to be successful or for you to find a way to win. So, Man. This was a down season for the Defenders, but I'm still encouraged because I think that come next year there will be a lot of guys available that are either NFL guys who didn't make it or NFL guys who are on their last go round of the NFL. So again, they had a chance, but they're out of the playoffs, so now it's just about getting back to 500 at this point. If they can get back to 500, at least they'll end the season with some level of dignity, knowing that they weren't the worst team in the league or one of the worst teams in the league this year. The USFL teams have came in and they've really stepped up their games, and they're like, nah, we're gonna fight against you guys. So I think the XFL teams weren't expecting that. But I think next year they will be ready for that come next year. So, again, bad, sad season for the Defenders. Like I said, they got 2 games left. We know what Jordan is. Let's see what Jalen is. Give Jalen an opportunity to really see what he can provide to the team, especially moving into the future, because I think that Jalen would have been a very solid replacement for De'Aaron King if they would have played him more, but because they didn't, we didn't really get to see him. So hopefully they'll let him play out the last 2 games just to give him some reps, because at this point, getting Ta'amu hurt is not what you need to be doing, you know, because you want him ready for the following season. So again, very, very good. Some players that I want to recognize, because I do feel that they should get opportunities on some NFL teams. So, number one, I'm gonna start with the St. Louis Battlehawks. For y'all who followed my channel and have followed my scouting reports and it used to be guys to pay attention to, but now I call it my Hidden Gems series, where I talk about players who are hidden gems in the NFL draft. Mike Rose was one of those guys, I think in 2021, that I talked about in regards to being one of those hidden gems. And Mike Rose, and this was a guy that I said, you know, if Ron and Jack really want to show how good they can be, this guy is a very solid player, and he would be a great developmental guy if you really want a solid linebacker. And he's developed very well in the UFL. I know some of y'all gonna be like, he's in the UFL, John. I think that he can do something in the NFL, and I think that he understands defense and defensive lineups and things like that. He was with Kansas City at one time. Kansas City actually had him on their team, so he does know the NFL game. So I think Mike Rose is one of those guys that should get another opportunity or another crack at the NFL. Another guy that I would love for the Commanders to actually look at, and that's Anthony Hines III, the linebacker number 57 for the Defenders. I think he would be, again, he's only 25. He would be a great guy to see if you can get him as a possible replacement for Bobby Wagner. He does a really good job with getting to the line, making plays, blowing up plays. He's not a liability in coverage. He runs very well, but again, we're talking about NFL level versus UFL level. But from what I see, he seems to be very solid in coverage. So he's a guy that I think that, you know, the Commanders should look to, and even if it's just bringing him in just to, you know, see what his level of play is versus some of your other guys. I think Anthony Hines III is one of those guys you bring in. Malik Fisher, you need edge guys. Malik Fisher seems to be a guy who has speed off the edge. I don't think he needs a lot of refinement, but I do think that there's something there that you can possibly look at and hope that he can play well enough to at least be a transitional guy for you, or be somebody that could play special teams for you or something like that. But I think that he's another guy you should probably look at. Lastly is Roberson. Derek Roberson, I think his name is Derek Roberson. Used to play for the Tennessee Titans. I think it was the Tennessee Titans he used to play for. But he's another one. Edge guy who could also play off linebacker and things like that. See what you can get out of him. I mean, at this current state right now, you have some edge guys. You don't have younger edge guys. But let's just see what you can get out of a guy. I mean, sometimes the motivation to be in the NFL and get back to the NFL will make a guy bring his game to another level or a top level. So with that being said, hopefully those 4 guys get the opportunity to actually show something to the NFL, and hopefully the Commanders can bring some of those guys to the NFL and just test them out, put them on the practice squad, see what you can get out of them, because I do think that some of these guys are worthwhile. I understand that there are guys that you drafted and signed as undrafted free agents, but at the end of the day, you're trying to build a winner. You know, you're not trying to be buddy-buddy with certain players. So, again, that's my take on that. Defenders go down to the St. Louis Battlehawks. I think it was 28, 20, I think it was 28-21. Sad state to see them go down like that. But again, it was a very good game. It was a very good game. I'm back, y'all. I'm back. So I will be coming fast and furious. I have been watching the NBA playoffs. It has been fantastic. I've been up with the whole I was engulfed in the Drake, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, and anybody else who has something to say beefs. You know, I've been watching the WNBA. Yeah, I have been watching, and I'll have a video about some of that too. I saw Bronny and how everybody's praising the fact that he's doing so well at the NBA Draft Combine. And I'm going to say something about a lot of former players who are doing stuff about that as well. But other than that, this has been your man, John Fortune, and this has been the Frustrated Fan Sports Show.